Hello and welcome to day 2 of Hustings here in Union Mall in Student Central. If you would like to send in any questions for any of the candidates for the roles today, you can either do to Elections Committee, that's Dan and Robin over there, ready and eager to take your questions alongside obviously Hasmin. You can also send your questions in on Twitter using hashtag UBU Elections, as well as following all the debates as well. Please keep it friendly on Twitter as well, this isn't yik yak. There's also various roles on tonight, of course. There's Women's and Campaigns Officer, Council Lay Member, Faculty of Management Officer, Mature Students Officer, Disabled Students Officer and Sports Officer. You can vote for all those roles, as well as all the ones that were on yesterday's hustings and on tomorrow's hustings, from the 8th to the 10th of March by going to ubuonline.co.uk/elections with the results on the 11th. If you missed hustings for the roles yesterday, you can listen back on mixcloud.com/BradfordUniSU or by going to youtube.com/UBUonline. Which brings me to tonight. If you cannot get into Student Central, which is a bit weird because I'm mentioning when everyone is in Student Central, you can go to youtube.com/c/UBUonline/live to watch a live stream. Thank you to Jack, who is on camera duty and delivering you all the visuals. You can also listen live on Rama at rama.co.uk on the Union, University and Rama apps. And if you have Periscope, you can also join on Periscope as Tata Deman has just done. Hello and welcome to the coverage on Periscope. So we'll be starting shortly with the Women's and Campaigns Officer role, but I'll pass you now to Hasmin, who will introduce the rest of the evening.
Thank you very much, Phil. Before we get to the hustings, I'll just make a quick announcement to all the students, colleagues, supporters who are around this area. Thank you very much for attending the hustings. The announcement is, if you're having coffees, any kind of cakes, any kind of drinks, I'm sure the Union Mall, this place is not a dustbin. You've got the bins right behind you. The way when you're walking out, you've got a few bins. You can just put it in there, because yesterday there was a bit of problems in cleaning all the dirt, if that's right. But anyway, back to business. Welcome to the UBU Hustings Leadership Race 16-17. We'll get to our Women's and Campaigns Officer, and shall we get Shazmin Akhtar to the stage and give a round of applause for it.
Go on, Shaz.
I'll just tiptoe. It's fine.
Okay, so you'll have a 2-minute opening speech for the role of Women's and Campaigns Officer, and your 2-minute opening speech starts now.
Okay, hi guys, my name is Shazmin and I'm running to be your next Women's and Campaigns Officer. So I have been involved with the union for about 3 years now, and that's been actively campaigning, and then I eventually became the debating president. I have campaigns on stuff like re-education, fair pay for lecturers, anti-harassment campaign against women. I've also campaigned for the annual Reclaim the Nights. So what I want to do if I am elected, okay, this is a complicated one because a lot of people have been asking me, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do differently from previous Women's and Campaigns Officers? And I just thought, I'm going to work with the liberation officers, because as much as people like to say, hey, I'm working with the liberation officers, they have constantly said to us, we haven't had the support that we need. We haven't had any kind of support, and we really need it. So that's one thing I am going to focus on. And that's not just because I'm sitting here in Hustings today wanting you guys to vote for me, but that's because I want to genuinely help these people. Secondly, I want to work with the community and welfare officer, the activities officer, and the sports officer to engage more women, because I think it's a serious issue. That's easier said than done, obviously. And sports has already done an amazing job by this girl can. So I have enough to worry about.
20 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. So I will work with them by campaigning individually, because what we don't realize is that women are very difficult to reach, and home-based students, especially women, are more difficult to reach than, let's say, women in the green, and I will be focusing on all parts.
Okay, that's your 2 minutes. That was the opening speech there for candidate Shazmin Akhtar for Women's and Campaigns Officer. We'll be now opening the floor, or should we floor, for questions. Hasmin?
Yes, guys, if you've got any questions on the floor, can you put your hands up and we'll get the mic to you.
May I ask how specifically you're going to aid the liberation officers in their duties, or in getting them more events, or in getting them more funding?
So, I'm not experienced in the funding side, and I'm not going to sit here and say I am. However, I know that these guys are basically having a full-time sub role while alongside their studies. So I know that the LGBT officer struggled to do the LGBT month this year just because he had so many other things to do, and I would actively like to focus from the beginning of the year. Hey, we need to sit down, we need to do this stuff now, we need to actively plan. And the thing is, we need to constantly hound students about BME issues, about LGBT issues, and about other issues in regards to this kind of stuff, and I think that's the best way to do it.
Thank you very much. Before we move on to the next question, I'll make a quick announcement, which I forgot actually, I'm sorry. All the candidates will have 30 seconds to reply with their answer due to the time constraint that we have. Thank you very much.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions from Twitter. The first one is, what is your opinion on the potential referendum to remove the position of Women's and Campaigns Officer?
Okay, so I was at GM when this happened, and I actively said, hey, come back to us with another role, and I will support it depending on what it is. Secondly, the fact that you're questioning the fact that we should have a women's role full-time, especially in Bradford, means we need to have a women's officer in Bradford.
Okay, and the other question from Twitter, on a similar theme, with the possibility of a referendum on this position, what are your thoughts on the position in its current state?
I think one of the reasons, personally, I think one of the reasons why we're having a referendum on it is because certain people will come out and say, hey, what about men? And what I say to that is, I definitely want to focus on bringing equality to the stage this year, and that means involving men, which is really, really important. I mean, come on. Feminism, I know this is corny as all hell, but feminism is a radical notion that all men and women should be equal, and I feel
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just before we move on to the next question from the floor, the same announcement, can we have a bit of silence around this area? Because we've got potential candidates who are going to lead the union next year. Let's have a bit of respect for these guys, please. Thank you. Moving on.
Apart from, I'm over here, way back here. So you've talked about how you're hoping to work with the liberations officer and possibly reach out to women and stuff like that. So how would you actively ensure that women feel safe and protected in a city like Bradford?
This is a personal issue because sometimes I don't feel safe and protected in Bradford. The fact is that one of my issues would be to work with the security around the campus and to make sure that they actively know that women are in danger. I mean, I think this is a problem that I've had with security guards over campus, and respect to them for doing what they do. However, I think they definitely have lacked. I would start campaigns with women, and I know this is a lot more difficult than saying it.
Thank you, Shazmin. Is there any other questions that we have in the floor?
Aleem's got a question. 30 seconds is not enough.
Hi Shazmin. So what I want to know is, what campaigns have you got planned for women in Bradford rather than national campaigns? What are you going to do for women in Bradford?
Okay, so I don't know any kind of national campaigns, and I don't focus on national campaigns at all. But what I want to do is, you know how you do that annual event about Reclaim the Night? Why can't it be every single night? Because women live in Bradford every single day, and they go through harassment every single day. And I think if that could just be spread out a little bit more, I think that would be one of my most important ones. The second one would be to actually engage with faculty reps, because I don't think we do that much, especially
Thank
like
you,
the ones.
Jasmine. Moving on. Do we have any other questions from the floor?
What are you going to do to get more women involved in sports?
Okay. 30 seconds is not enough, but okay, here I go. So the thing is, I have been a culprit of not joining sports. I've regretted it. I say every year that I want to join rowing, but I never get to join rowing because I'm really lazy. However, I think we need to do this on the separation of home-based students and then students in accommodation between women. We need, so home-based students and students naturally go home about 5 or 6 p.m. So maybe actively trying to push sports to do some kind of event at maybe 2 or 3 p.m. Even if it's recreational and not competitive, then that's... Huh?
Thank you, Jasmine. That's time. Any other questions from the floor? Any other questions from the floor? Great. Jasmine, you've got 1 minute for your summation speech for the Women and Campaigns Officer, starting now.
My name is Jasmine, and vote for me because I'm definitely a change. I want to bring campaigns back locally. I want to bring empowerment to women locally in Bradford and not in London or Scotland or wherever else, because that is the most important thing. And a vote for me is a vote for change. And 30 seconds was not enough. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, you've heard the candidates for the role of Women's and Campaigns Officer. They are Jasmine Akhtar and Ron Reopen. Nominations, you can of course vote for that role, as you can all of them next week from the 8th to the 10th of March via ubuonline.co.uk/elections, with the results out on the 11th of March. You are listening to UBU Elections Day 2 of Hustings, live in the Union Mall, on YouTube, on Rame, and of course on Periscope. And we're back in touch for you for Jasmine to introduce the next role on tonight's Hustings.
Thank you very much. It's good to have a bit of banter anyway. Moving on to the next role, candidates on council lay members. Can we invite all the council lay members? Fatuma Sangnya. Adam Muslim. Let's give it a bit of cheer. Okay. Niall Hines. Ismail Jifri. Asha Hussain, Sania Razak, Nicholas Bates, Amal Ismail, Anas Makda.
Okay, just for the candidates that are on stage, to the speaker on your right, there are 2 radio mics as well as the 2 mics on stage, so you can use all 4. If you are using a radio mic, this switch flicks up to turn it on. Please rest those on your chin. For the wired mics, please keep your mouth a few inches away from the microphone, and we'll keep an eye on those for you. We will be doing a 2-minute opening speech for each candidate. There'll be then questions, which we will be limiting to 30-second answers each, and then you'll be having a summation speech of 1 minute as well. If you would like to send any questions to candidates for the council lay member, as well as the other roles this evening, you can do so to the Elections Committee in Student Central. You can also send them on Twitter using the hashtag UBU Elections. Over to you, Hasmin.
Thank you. Shall we start? Before we start, we'll just give again a quick reminder to everyone around this place. Just maintain a bit of silence for all these contestants who are running in these roles. They are trying to represent your views across the campus and to better your student experience. Starting off with Fatuma Sanyang, you can start your opening speech now.
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Right. My name is Fatuma Sanyang, and I'm the current Red Ribbon Secretary, as well as the Society Federation Council Rep. So the reason why I chose this role is because I still want to be in council for next year, and this is the role that seems appealing to me. I've got ideas for next year, so I want to work with sabbatical officers, like the Women's and Campaigns Officer, to have more campaigns like anti-harassment campaign. I've put in the water fountain motions that's been passed in council. I've got a motion that's coming up to redecorate the SU. So everything has been written up, and I'm just waiting for council to represent it. And I believe that I've got the experiences and the skills to carry out this role efficiently. So thank you very much.
Okay, that was the opening speech there for candidate Fatuma Sanyang for council lay member. The next candidate to speak is Adam Aslam, and you have a 2-minute opening speech, and that starts now. Okay, sorry. Your 2-minute opening speech starts now.
Hello? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back for round 2. That's just me, ladies and gentlemen. I actually really care. I actually want to do stuff for the union. Even if I don't win chair, I want to represent you guys. That's what I'm all about. I'm a guy who's active. I'm a guy who cares. I'm a guy who listens. I've been engaged nationally. I've been engaged socially. I've been engaged in my community. I work with the police. I work with the council. I work with the University of Leeds. I work with the University of Bradford. I actually care, and that's why I'm standing here today. I'm proud to be part of Team Bradford. And yeah, I'm a new guy. Yeah, I'm a new puppy, but I want to get things done. A vote for me is a vote for humility. A vote for me is a vote for stability. I have the ability, so please vote for me.
Okay, that was the opening speech there for candidate Adam Aslam for council lay member. The next candidate to speak is Niall Hines, and your 2-minute opening speech. Can we just have quiet in the audience, please? Your 2-minute opening speech starts now.
My name's Niall. I've been on council now for combined 3.5 years, about 2 years as an undergraduate, 1.5 years as a postgraduate. I'm the current deputy chair. I really enjoy working on council. I really enjoy working for students and trying to get stuff done here, and I really want to continue that. The 3 things I want to continue or work on at the moment is, number 1, finish the constitution reform, that we have a constitution and a council that works properly for students. The second thing I want to have a look at is mental health awareness. Mental health, it's something that people are afraid to talk about, particularly students when you're away from home for the first time. A lot of people get homesick, results might be going as well as you'd like, and plenty of other issues, that we make sure that mental health isn't a stigma and that it's something that can be spoken about. So it's to work on that. Okay, and I want to work with the community and welfare officer about that and get stuck into that. The last thing is, of course, holding sabbatical officers to account. We're quite lucky with the sabbatical officers we have this year. I think they're doing quite a good job, really. But anyone who's seen me at a GM or a council meeting knows that I'm not afraid to ask questions or to make a point. So that's something I want to do. And it's not just about holding sabbaticals to account, it's about supporting those sabbatical officers as well. And that's something I want to continue as well. We cannot be in council, we cannot be in general meetings continually berating sabbatical officers if we are not going to help them find solutions and to work with them. And that's something I want to bring. Thank you very much.
That was the opening speech there for candidate Niall Hines for Council Lay Member. The next candidate to speak is Ismail Jaffrey, and you have a 2-minute opening speech, and that starts now.
Hello, my name is Ismail Jaffrey. I'm a first-year chemical engineer. I'm running to be re-elected as a council lay member, and I believe it's important to be active in a union if you're going to go for this role, and I have been. I'm in the sports team as a walk polo. I'm treasurer of the debating society, so I'm understanding how societies are working. I'm also a student rep, and I have held lecturers to account in doing so, and I've increased the engagement in the Green by being a Green ambassador. Having worked so well for a year on council, it just makes sense to continue in this role. And the next step for me is just supporting sabbatical officers more and to hold them to account more fairly, because I think just judging them in the reports is not enough. I need to be there, out there, supporting them. And also I need to continue what I have been doing this year, which is supporting motions and voting for motions that actually help our student experience and making Bradford a better place.
That was the opening speech there for candidate Ismail Jaffrey, standing for Council Lay Member. The next candidate to speak is Asha Hussain. If you could take a microphone. And your 2-minute opening speech starts now.
Hi guys, my name is Asha Hussain. I'm a first-year student currently studying health, wellbeing and social care. I'm also a student representative, as I have made a change for my pals in my course, and also I have gained strong leadership skills to get my tasks done on time. I have nominated myself as a council lay member because I am fully confident as I could make a change by implementing the students' needs onto council to hold sabbatical officers to account. I promise you guys I will do my best and I won't let you down. Thank you so much, and please vote for me.
That was the opening speech there for candidate Asha Hussain, standing for Council Lay Member. The next candidate to speak is Sanhaya Razak, and if you could take a microphone please. And your 2-minute opening speech starts now.
Hi guys, my name is Sanhaya Razak. I'm a first-year student studying health, wellbeing and social care. I'm currently a student rep, and I feel I have gained interpersonal skills, and I would like to take my role further and become a council lay member by making things more transparent and getting you, the students, more involved in the discussion. I promise to hold the sabbatical officers accountable and scrutinise them when necessary. My main aim is to make you, the fellow student, voices heard on council and to make any changes necessary. I promise to not let you down. Thank you.
That was the opening speech there for candidate Sanhaya Razak, and next candidate to speak is Nicholas Bates, and your 2-minute opening speech starts now.
So I've been a lay member for a year now, and what have I achieved during that? Well, I've completed the manifesto that I had last year, because I'm going to leave it in the hands of the capable sports officer that will be inevitably elected, well, as a result of this election. And then I will continue trying to push forward for healthy initiatives. As well as this, I have in the past been able to get students more, goodies, specifically kind of items that they can get. What I'm going to do now, as if anyone's read my manifesto will know, it's a case that I'm going to try and now push for things that I didn't really think about last year. I didn't really think about, let's say, like, what I'm going to do with the academic affairs officer. The academic affairs officer I'm going to work with to try and get minimum standards for feedback, for lecturers and for PATs, because we all know that it's very inconsistent, very inconvenient for us as students, and I want to see a change to that. I will work with him. I will also work with the Women's Campaigns Officer to see that campaigns get back on board. And then, finally, I will just say this. I will continue, I will get reliability back on campus, and I will get results. Thank you very much. Vote for me.
That was the opening speech for candidate Nicholas Bates, standing for Council Lay Member. The next candidate to speak is Amal Ismail. If you could take a microphone, and your 2-minute opening speech starts now.
Hi, my name's Amal Ismail, and I decided to run for Lay Member because it's clear that lack of engagement is a big problem. Having spoken to a lot of students, a lot of people don't know what the Union Council itself does, or the role of a lay member, or even who the lay members themselves are. So if they have issues, they feel as though it's out of their control, there's nothing they can do about it. It's the students that aren't involved. It's not because they don't care or they don't have issues that they want to. It's because they don't know where to go, and that's a big problem that we need to change. Thank you.
That was the opening speech there for candidate Amal Ismail, standing for Council Lay Member. The final candidate to speak will be Anas Makda. If you could cut to the microphone. And your opening speech for Council Lay Member starts now.
Hi, my name is Anas. I am currently a lay member, and I want to run again next year because, for several reasons. The main one is I sit on the Democracy Committee, and so I've been involved in the discussions that we've been having for the reform of council, and the implementation of that reform will be taking place next year. And I really feel that there's no point just talking, you have to actually do. And
just try one of the wired mics, please.
And the only way to ensure that something happens is to continue in this role. And I want to improve stuff to ensure that there's fair representation in the council for all students, and yeah.
That was the opening speech there for candidate Anas Makda. So you've heard all the candidates there for Council Lay Member. We'll now be moving to questions for all the candidates. If you could place your hand high if you have a question, and our roaming mic will be round. Dan, ready to take your questions. You're listening to the second day of Hustings live in Union Mall Student Centre.
Hi. Okay, so a lot of people give heat to sabbatical officers, and especially a few council lay members. But my question is, how will you support the sabbatical officers instead of constantly just bashing them?
Okay, just remind that we do have 30-second limits, so please keep your answers to the point, please. Adam, you are up for the answer firstly, please. Please keep your answers short, please.
That's amazing. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I have a strong relationship with certain people in the sabbatical office. Because I care, I will support them. Remember, there are certain people that have been lay members and they haven't done their job. There are certain people who have. I will make sure that I run a tight ship, but also I listen, and I've had my own problems in life. So I've spent all my life working with people and listening to them and caring for them, so this won't be any different. I'm honest, I'm political, but at the same time, I do care. So don't worry, sabbatical officers, you'll be safe with me.
And Niall, please.
I believe being a council lay member, it's not just about turning up to council and turning up to GMs, it's about actually going into the union and having a chat with the sabbatical officers, which is something I've been trying to do all year. I've spoken to all the officers on many occasions, and it's helped me understand where they're coming from as well. Because if we do want to make an actual difference, we need. It's not so much what happens in council; it's what happens behind the scenes and facilitating these things to happen. So that's what I tend to do.
Ismail, please. Just chill with them, like seriously. I just like hang out with them and see what they're actually getting up to do. And they're not just messing about, and they're actually doing their job. And find out what they're doing every day. And that's what I've been doing already. So let's continue that.
We'll just make sure when candidates are speaking, could they get closer to the mic, please, just so we can hear you better. Asha, please.
Like most of my peers have already said, that we are going to keep an eye on our sabbatical officers, and we're going to do most to support them. So whatever help they need from us, we'll give them all the support that they need. So that's all I can say, because they've already said it all.
And Sanaya, please.
Yes, so I'll just make sure I'm visible around the union and help them, ask them if they're doing their job, and yeah, just to help them.
And Nicholas?
Well, it seems that in the past I have worked with the sabbatical officers. For example, I've delegated tasks that I've done in my motions. Like, for example, the sports officer is in charge of the Farmers Market initiative that I put forward to council. And also, I will in the future work with several different officers to get forward more ideas, to talk with them. For example, throughout the whole of last year, I ended up speaking with every single last sabbatical officer about any idea I seem to have, with the chair of council, just with everybody really.
Thank you, Nicholas.
And Amal, please, can you just make sure if you've got the radio mics to on your chin, please, just so we can hear you better. Thank you.
What was the question? No, specifically, I forgot that. Oh, okay. By contributing ideas, even engaging with the actual students on their behalf and providing support.
And Anas, please just put the microphone on your chin so we can hear you, please. Thank you.
Yeah, this is an issue that I want to improve on for next year. Communication with all the sabbatical officers. But when I have talked to them, I have found that if there are issues, there's always a good reason for why they may be behind on some motion or the other. So I think communication with them is just key, and that's all you really need to do. You just need to listen to them, and they will get done whatever you need them to do. Thank you.
Fatuma, please.
Hello? Funny enough, I was actually mentioning this a couple of weeks ago. I've had ideas like having Sab of the Month maybe in council, where sabbatical officers, the work from their reports can be like, people in council will look at their reports and then decide on who is the Sab of the Month, because I know that there are some things that is confidential and they can't present it in council. And I was thinking maybe have a section in the union where people can put praises and appreciation on whatever they've got for a particular sabbatical
Okay,
officer.
that's 30 seconds. Have we got any further questions from council layer member candidates?
Do we have any other questions from the floor?
Hi, so obviously you guys are aware that this year's council lay members haven't actually been very prominent in the SU or in the union at all. So how are you as a council lay member going to make your roles prominent and kind of make people aware of a council lay member and their role?
Niall, could you start that one, please?
Completely agree, Samara. It is a big issue that we've had, and it's something that we've, as a council, we've started working on. So the first thing is to start promoting lay members. So on the Facebook, on the Twitter, people know that how to contact us. The second thing is making sure that we are about the union. It's something that I try to do. I try to come down to the union, even if it's just for half an hour a day, every second day or something like that. And that's how I communicate with a lot of students. A lot of the stuff I brought up in council and at general meetings, it's by doing that. The onus has to be on the lay member of council as well, though.
Thank you. Can we move on to Adam Aslam?
You've got to recognise that some of these members have actually done good work, so we can't always be negative to everyone. But those of you who properly know me, when there's a campaign, when there's something I believe in, I get down and you'll see me running around. Even as a lay member, I'll introduce myself to you. I'll be running around here. I'll be saying, this is who I am. You want to speak to me? You come to me. If not, I'll come to you. That's me as a lay member, using my personality, my character, and my ability to improve the state of the lay members. You trust in me, trust in the SU. That's how I work.
And Fatuma, please.
I think first of all it's to rectify the role of a lay member in the constitution, because right now it's very, very vague. And the other thing is maybe attend forums as well, try to be in as many forums as possible, and maybe have like a social media page where people can actually know you and know what you're doing. So yeah.
Thank you very much. Before we move on to the next candidate, just a quick announcement. Can we maintain a bit of silence around this area? Because as I mentioned time and time again, these guys are going to be representing your views in the council, and they're going to be holding your sabbatical officers accountable. Can you please have a bit of respect for these people around, for these candidates around this area, and then let them answer the questions that have been thrown at them? Thank you.
Okay, we're going to continue for answers to that question. Anas, if you're up next, please, if you can grab a microphone. Just switch the microphone up.
I agree with what Niall has said, that this is an issue, and I have been trying to set up drop-in sessions for students to come in and talk about issues that they may have. But as Fatuma said, it is difficult to do when the role of the Labour member is quite broad at the moment, and that is one of the issues that are under reform for next year, hopefully.
And Mal, please.
By speaking to the students directly and telling, or also making use of student reps on the course, so they can tell people in lectures who to go to, or possibly have like posters in the union so people know if they have an issue who can go to speak to about it.
Nicholas.
This is why we are setting up a lay members forum, something that Niall's been the pioneer for, and that I've been someone to be helping about, because as a lay member, it's kind of odd that we have the largest mandate on council, and yet we haven't got, let's say, that many votes, or we don't have that many people who recognise who we are. So in the future, we do need to represent ourselves further. So that's why Niall and a lot of the lay members are pulling together to be able to get our name out there by putting ourselves in the UBU forum, by getting our pictures taken and having those all about.
Okay, thank you. And stand here, please.
Just make myself visible around student union and approach students and ask them how they're feeling, if they've got any problems to address their concerns.
And Asha?
Right guys, I'm friendly and approachable. If there's any problems or concerns, you can come and approach me whenever you want. I'll always be here for you.
And Ismail, please.
I can't hear you.
Sorry. I'm not going to repeat myself on that stuff. So basically, just be more visible in the union. I'm going to wear my union jacket more often. I don't wear it enough, and you'll see me. People will ask me, "Oh, why is he wearing that union jacket?" And it's in council, and I can explain to them my role.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions from the floor? Well, then we'll get to the summation speech of the council lay members, starting off with
Anas. Firstly, 1 minute each. Yeah. So your 1 minute summation speech starts now.
Yeah, I've had a year already in the union, and I've really enjoyed it, and I really want to carry on for next year. So vote for me.
That was the summation speech of candidate Anas Makhtar, standing for council lay member. The next candidate to speak is Amal Ismail. And your 1 minute summation speech starts now.
I'd just like to say that the most important thing is to make sure the union is visible and active to all students, and that's it.
That was the summation speech there for candidate Amal Ismail for the role of council lay member. The next candidate to speak is Nicholas Bates, and your 1 minute closing speech starts now.
Remember that the lay members' reason for being is to bring your concerns to council, to hold the sabbatical officers to account, and to just genuinely try to make the student experience as good as possible. So, with this being the case, recall that my manifesto has included several issues that will make the student experience better, with it being that we have reliable lecturers and then we have reliable campaigns that we will eventually come to fruition and, well, make the students' experience better.
That was the closing speech there for candidate Nicholas Bates for council lay member. The next candidate speaker is Sanhaya Razak, and your 1 minute summation speech starts now.
So yeah guys, I promise to make changes. If there's any problems, I promise to make your voice heard. And so yeah, please vote for me.
That was the closing speech there for candidate Sanhaya Razak. The next candidate to speak for Council Lay Member is Asha Hussain, and your 1-minute summation speech starts now.
As a student representative, I'm having a great time. I've made changes and I'm still making changes. And now as a Council Lay Member, I know I'll be able to make changes. So please guys, vote for me.
That was the closing speech there for candidate Asha Hussain. The next candidate to speak is Ismail Jaffrey, and your 1-minute summation speech starts now.
Vote me, Ismail Jaffrey, number 1 for Council Lay Member. I've got the experience. I can't remember the other stuff I was going to say, but basically, I'm going to fight for our students.
That was the closing speech there for candidate Ismail Jaffrey for Council Lay Member. The next candidate to speak is Niall Hines, and your 1-minute summation speech starts now.
I've really enjoyed representing students for the last few years. I consider it an honour, really, to be honest with you. I want to keep doing that. I want to keep representing students. I want to do that through supporting our SABs, holding them to account when that's needed. I want to do it by having a strong constitution, a concise constitution that works for the students, that we're not having to troll through reams of paperwork, that we're able to get stuff done and we don't have to spend so many councils doing it, that we can get stuff done as quick as possible. Really want to have a look at this area of mental health. It's an area that's quite a personal thing as well, and I'm sure that's the same for many students on this campus. Thank you very much.
That was the closing speech there for candidate Niall Hines for the role of Council Lay Member. The next candidate to speak is Adam Aslam, and your 1-minute closing speech starts now.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, I've got 5 to 7 years behind me of being in council societies and other organisations. I'm a guy who gets the job done, but I'll tell you one thing, a person who can say I'm wrong when I'm wrong is the best of persons. A person who can say when they're right, well done team, is the best of persons. And a person who can say I care, I'm honest, and I love you all. So please, back me, because I'll get the job done. Love you all. Vote for me.
That was the closing speech there for candidate Adam Aslam for Council Lay Member. The final candidate to speak is Fatuma Sanyang, and your 1-minute summation speech starts now.
Hey guys, I'd just like to say, first of all, I did my research on this role, so I know that I'm able to do this role. I've got 3 values in life: integrity, respect and determination. Those 3 values gets me through, and I wouldn't be here telling you all of these things if I didn't believe that I could do it. So put your trust in me as the members of the union, and I'll represent you in council.
That was the closing speech there for candidate Fatuma Sanyang. You have heard there from all the candidates for Council Lay Member. You can of course vote for that position from March the 8th to March the 10th next week, alongside all the other roles. You can also read all their manifestos, along with all the other candidates, at ubuonline.co.uk/elections. You're listening to Day 2 of Hustings, live in Student Central, on Rame, on YouTube and on Periscope. Back to you, Hasmin.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck with all the elections. Before we move on to the next candidate, again, a quick announcement with the noise around this area. I'm sure I'm not the headmaster, you're not the school students. If you can have a bit of silence around this area, because it's really disrespectful for the candidates who are respecting the student views, who are putting themselves forward to represent your views. And also at the same time, can we be a bit respectful on the social media? Because it's always good to have a Twitter, a bit of fun, but at the same time be a bit respectful for the candidates, because they put themselves forward. Thank you. Moving on. Let's get to the Faculty of Management and Law Officer, Philip Ayum. Give him a round of applause, guys.
Okay, Philip, you have a 2-minute opening speech, and that starts now.
Let me ask you one question. How many of you would want to feel that they are included in every operation, in every policy of this university? And how many of you would want to feel that there are plenty of opportunities for you each year? It's a great honor for me to be here today and speak to you as a candidate for this position. But it is also a great responsibility, and I understand it. And I want to show you that I'm aware of what this role brings with itself, and that I am committed to do this job properly. So let me tell you something about myself. I've had a privilege of being a representative. I represented my class, my school. I represented the European Youth Parliament in my home country and on the international level. And I think I was chosen to do this because I understood the importance and the possibilities behind those roles and what I could change. And also because I cared about the people that voted for me. And I know that if there is any issue, any concern connected with policies at the university, I will stand up for you and I will present those concerns, those issues to relevant people. And I also want to say that I'll devote all my energy to bring as many new opportunities to the students of our school as it is only possible. And I know that as a previous organizer of some quite huge events, I've got an appropriate skill set to do this, to bring sessions, conferences to school management and to a faculty. And if you support that and want to fully benefit from the experience, please vote for me and I welcome your questions. Thank you.
That was the opening speech there. For the candidate for Faculty of Management Officer, that's Philip Hume. Over to you, Hasmin.
Thank you very much. Let's open it up for the floor. If there is any questions from the floor, if you can put your hands up, we'll get the mic around and we'll have a question for the Faculty of Management and Law Officer.
Don't forget, you can also send any questions, come up and write them down, or also send them to Twitter. UBU Elections is the hashtag. Have we got any questions on the floor?
Until we get a question from the floor, I've got a question for you, Philip, from a predecessor. What new things could you bring into this role which has not been done in the past?
To be honest, I currently work with my friend on a project of bringing ISEC to this university. I was very surprised that ISEC isn't already at the university. And I've worked with many organizations like Sports Respect Your Rights. I worked with the European Youth Parliament and a campaign against homophobia in Poland, where I'm from. And I know that there are plenty of organizations that I could connect with and bring many opportunities for all the students. Yes, that's pretty much it.
Okay, have we got any further questions for candidates for Faculty of Management Officer? Okay.
Thank you very much. Philip Ayub, let's get to your summation speech. If you've got... Seems like there's no questions. Is there any other questions from the floor? Okay, we've got
one question at the front.
I don't know. We know that it's very difficult to engage School of Management students, and how will you bring this about?
Can you elaborate on it?
So basically, School of Management students are not involved in the union as much as they can be, and as much as main campus students are. How will you change that, and how would you bring your role to light?
Well, I think it's basically the matter of the size of the events that are organized, and I guess that your question is particularly how to get them involved in the Students' Union here, right? Well, I've heard about the idea of creating a student union in School of Management, but I think that's completely impossible. Or maybe it wouldn't even make much sense. But I would definitely want to get in touch and connect people. And I think that this is basically a matter of simple being in touch, because I think that's what my role is about.
Okay, we have also got a question on Twitter for candidates for Faculty of Management Officer. How will you strengthen the engagements with sports, societies and media and the Faculty of Management and vice versa?
Can you repeat it, please?
From Twitter, how will you strengthen the engagements with sports, societies and media and the Faculty of Management and vice versa?
To be honest, I haven't thought about it before, but what I can say is I'll definitely think about something that should be correct. I mean, I was already thinking about talking to people that have a lot of experience in student union or working here. So basically, I'll definitely try to do this and get as many ideas as it is only possible.
Okay, do we have any further questions for the candidate for Faculty of Management Officer? Please raise your hand if you have any. Okay, shall we move to summation speech?
Yes, Philip, if you can give you a summation speech, which will start right now.
Hey, thank you. So basically, thank you for your question, thank you for your attention. And I asked those really simple questions in the beginning to basically emphasize that there is a simple need of bringing opportunities to students of our school, and there is a need of protecting their rights and protecting the right of our faculty to be included in the general policy of the university. And I think that this is something that I could do well, and I could connect with many of my friends that would hold similar positions in order to organize many events, to get involved. Thank you for the point about connecting sports union with the sports sector with school, with management sector. It's really great, and I think that I'll think about as many possibilities as I can. Now, is it okay?
Okay, that was the summation speech there for Philip Hume, candidate for Faculty of Management Officer. There's also one re-open nominations, as with all the roles. You can vote for that position from the 8th to the 10th of March, with results on the 11th of March via ubuonline.co.uk/elections, where you can see all the manifestos as well. We'll be moving now on to the next role for today, which is the Mature Students Officer. Could we get the candidates up for that role, please, to stage? And please give them a round of applause as they go up to stage.
People are not expecting a big...
Mature Students Officer, it's Ali Ahmed who is standing for this role. Your opening speech starts now.
Okay. Well, the reason I want to be a Mature Student Officer is because I believe that during my time at the university, I have been involved in my curriculum activities, and I have picked a certain amount of skill set and skills and knowledge that I have only managed to apply by talking to people, learning new methods, and I believe that...
Sorry, just could you lift your microphone up, just so we can hear you better? Sorry, just pause that for a second. Okay, just continue that speech.
Well, I am aware of the responsibilities that a mature student has, because I have many friends who have other responsibilities such as work, children, and basically they I am aware that whilst we work hard on our deadlines and subject projects, I know what it takes to juggle jobs, family responsibilities. I know what it takes to work tirelessly 24/7 to earn a living, to actually get somewhere. And what I can bring to it, I have nephews and nieces. I know the struggles you're going through, so I know what it takes to actually work extra hard, to actually get your best results you can. I had one friend, for example, he brought his daughter with him to work, to study, and that's because he's really hard working, so I know exactly what it is like for him, because his wife studies in college as well, so I know exactly what it takes to actually work to become a role model student for your daughter. I know exactly what it takes. I have also experienced myself. I've been a member of the ABSOC at the university for 3 years, so I know what it takes to...
Okay, thank you. That's your 2-minute opening speech. That was candidate Ali Ahmed for Mature Students Officer. We can also take questions from the floor. If you've got a question for Mature Students Officer candidates, please raise your hand and Dan will stroll over with the radio mic. You're listening to UBU Elections Day 2 of Hustings, live in Student Central, also on YouTube, Rama and Periscope. These are questions to the Mature Students Officer.
Hi Lee. I just wanted to understand what challenges do the mature students face that we might not be aware of, and what skills and experiences do you have that makes you a good candidate? Thank you.
Well, looking at my personal experience, you will face tireless nights, you will face struggles when it comes to handling your assignments. All I can say is manage your time properly, get help from your lecturers because they will help you. And I have been working at 12 at night to handle a deadline, so I know what kind of struggles you're going through. and I can actually sympathise with the mature students because they have to get home with their families. I know exactly what you have to face. I personally have a nephew and niece, so they tire me out tirelessly, and I can't get them out.
Okay, that's your 30 seconds, thank you. The next question comes from Twitter. Mature students face different challenges to other students. How will you solve these so they can be more involved with the Students' Union?
Well, first of all, I have mature student friends. I don't think they have any problems because I've seen many friends who are in their 40s, 50s, and they seem to be fine with the student union. They seem to be fine with their studying life. So I don't think there's any problems, personally. So if you want to get involved, you can probably invite them to more student union meetings. You can simply ask them to join us there. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other questions from the floor? And can we also have a bit of silence around this area, please? I can't keep announcing this time and time again. We're all grown-ups. We understand what you mean by keeping a bit of silence. Thank you. As we don't have any other questions, Ali, you've got 1 minute to have a submission speech and let the students know why should they have a vote for you. And it starts now.
Well, I should be, I would like to be a mature student because I feel that I have the particular skill set, I have the knowledge, I have the experience to relate to other mature students, and I can possibly help new students to not fall into the same traps as I have and for them to succeed better than I have so they can aim higher and possibly become future philanthropists, doctors, mechanical engineers, animators, and hopefully they can change the way we do things around here. So,
thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Ali Ahmed for Mature Students Officer.
You can vote for all the candidates for that role from March the 8th to March the 10th, as with all the other roles, with votes on March the 11th. You can also read all the manifestos at ubuonline.co.uk/elections.
Moving on, the next candidate for Disabled Students Officer, Anila Ahmed. Let's welcome her to the stage.
Okay, Anila, if you go to the microphone. Okay, and your 2-minute opening speech for the role of Disabled Students Officer starts now.
Okay, hello everybody, it's a pleasure to see you here today. So I'm really pleased with the work that my predecessor Oliver has conducted to date. And I am really looking forward to exploring new opportunities with you in 2016 to 2017. So previously I have advocated at a national and international level for disabled individuals and also people who are young patients. I do have extensive experience, and I'm sure if you read my manifesto you will be able to gather what I can do. So I have 8 things that I would like to improve. Number 1 on my list is to conduct a review of access to facilities for disabled students. So I'm talking about lifts. There is a big issue with disabled students having issues getting into lifts. There's even an issue of getting into the library. I do not think that the library bookcases are separated very well, and I do not think that they are in compliance with the complete laws which protect our disabled individuals. I also think that there needs to be more socials for disabled students. I am aware that there is the Cycle for All and the ASD group, but I'm talking mainstream socials. So when we organise socials, we need to make sure that disabled students can also get involved. I would also like to plan a freshers meet and greet session, and I would like to follow this up with social games and dinners so that they have a support network that they can refer to. And I would like to make sure that there is a clear-cut strategy so that if anyone has any problems or wants to approach me, they can come up to me and they can actually discuss this. I would also like to work with a disability team. I think that the LSPs are not adhered to by lecturers and that they are not implemented correctly. Some lecturers don't even read them, and we can get victimised as a result of this. And I would also like to make sure that the recognition of invisible disabilities is also highlighted. So I would like to work on this with the campaigns officer and also the welfare officer. I do think that a review needs to be conducted of the Bradford Student Health Service. I do not think that the service is adequate and that it results...
Okay, that's your 2-minute opening speech. Thank you. You've heard there for candidate Anila Ahmed for Disabled Students Officer. We'll now move to questions from the floor.
Do we have any questions from the floor? Yeah.
Hi, I'm aware that disabled students face a lot of problems around campus. What sort of plans have you got in place to get disabled students more involved in sports?
Okay, so what I would like to do is sit down with the sports officer and also the welfare officer and the Societies Federation and actually sit down and work out what is it in sports that is putting disabled students off. I know from previous experiences it is because I find that if I attend a disabled a sports meeting, I do not think that you would be able to always accommodate me. So I need the assurance that you can accommodate me. I need the assurance that my needs will be looked after, because some of us have invisible illnesses, some of us are in wheelchairs.
Okay, that's your 30 seconds answer for that question.
We've got one more question from the floor.
My question is, will your ideas about careers after university support the legislation regarding the issue of underemployment within disabled students?
Yes, very good question. So the 2010 revision of the Disabilities Act has said that people need to be inclusive and not excluding people from actual employability. So in line with that, I would say that I would like to instigate a mentor system. So I will go out there and I will go to businesses and to local area and have a look and identify people who may be disabled or people who can actually mentor our young people to actually take up jobs in workplaces. I think that would definitely make a advantage for them.
Thank you very much. Can we have any other questions from the floor?
Yeah, I'm just asking, do you have any disabilities yourself that give you an insight into what disabled students face? And if so, what are they?
Okay.
Sorry, was that you? What did you ask? No, that question will not be taken. Moving on.
Can you expand a bit more what you meant by invisible disabilities?
Okay, invisible disabilities are basically things like learning disabilities, dyslexia, colour blindness. It's also things like ASD, so autistic spectrum disorder. It's also things like chronic health illnesses. So you could have cancer, you could have type 1 diabetes, you could have Crohn's and colitis. It's all these health issues and other issues which can affect your learning, your concentration levels, and these can have a significant impact on your learning experience.
Thank you very much.
Which is something I'd like to work on.
We've got one prayer and question for you. Your manifesto is solely focused on academic matters, which is a priority, of course. However, during the last 3-4 years, Bradford has really developed the extracurricular offer available to disabled students, particularly through the medium of inclusive sport. What plans do you have to ensure that disabled students continue to be able to have the maximum student experience outside their classrooms, as in my opinion, which is the questioner's opinion? It is imperative that all students are able to have a healthy work or life balance.
Okay, that's a very good question. I would like to say that my planned socials and actually the meeting that I'm going to have to work with the sports and also the Societies Federation to make sure we are able to cater for everyone. I would like to see more inclusiveness. So to make that happen, what I would like to do is make sure that there is a review process when a social is planned, which includes a section in the risk assessment or anything that is implemented for that by the societies and also sports club, to actually make sure that disabled students are integrated and that their needs are taken care of. So if that means you need to make sure that they are understood and their needs are taken care of.
Thank you very much. Is there any other questions from the floor? To the disabled student officer. Great. We'll get to your summation speech, Anil Ahmed, which is going to start now.
Okay, so I'd like to thank you all for being here today and actually listening to my speeches. As a disabled students officer, I do have extensive experience of advocating for people, and I can do it with a lot of passion. I have knowledge of the laws, I have knowledge of the policies surrounding disabilities, so I can make sure that change is sustainable and is enforced, because if you do it through the law, people cannot fault you. So that's what I would like to do for you.
Thank you very much. Let me pass it to Phil now.
That was the closing speech there for the candidate for Disabled Students Officer. That was Anila Ahmed. You can vote for that position and all of them in next week from March the 8th to March the 10th on ubuonline.co.uk/elections, where you can also listen back to all the hustings, see the manifestos and lots more. The last role of the evening will be Sports Officer. We'll be taking a short break before we get that for a chance to go and get something to eat, drinks, go to the loo, whatever you fancy doing in the next 5-10 minutes. Then we'll be back for the role of Sports Officer, which will round off today's hustings. We'll be back very shortly, live on Student Central, on Ramair, on Periscope and of course on YouTube. Thank you.